Hello everyone and welcome to another edition of What's on My Desk, and today I'm bringing you something that is new and hot, that is old and hot, and an update on something that is still hot and will be hot, and tell you about this right after we roll this intro. So you guys remember a while back I bought myself the Hublot Sapphire Crystal, the all clear watch with the white clear strap. I'll pop a video of that up there, Ian, if you don't mind. I wore that watch around for a while, and guess what? Lo and behold, I sold it literally off my wrist. I don't collect them. I do sell these watches. In fact, I just talked about it in an episode of my personal collection. If you guys didn't see that, make sure you catch that episode. I wanted to show you an update to that watch, and that was the next version that Hublot came out with. Of course, this thing is all wrapped up. I don't think it matters because it's pretty clear. Which is basically the same exact watch, Hublot Unico 45 millimeter, except this one is not entirely clear, and surprise, surprise, it's on a black strap. So what are the key differences? Right off the bat, you can see it's got a black dial, okay, which is a skeleton dial. You can see the inner workings of the Unico movement, both front and back, which is absolutely marvelous. I think the Unico movement from Hublot is great. For those of you that hate on Hublot, stop hating now. Hublot does make great watches. I've told you guys this before. And they can be made fun of all you want. They still sell like hotcakes, including this particular model. Now, when I got this particular watch, right off the top of my head, at first I said, man, I don't know. I kind of like the other one better. But then I looked at it a little bit closer and I said, you know what? No, I actually think that this is a better version. And here's my reasoning behind it. Now, you can still put this watch on a clear strap to make it sort of all crystal or all white, whatever you want to call it, or see-through. But what I do love the fact is, it seems as you're looking at this watch that the watch is, or the movement itself, the movement in the dial is sort of suspended in mid-air in between all this nothingness, which is the crystal, right? Because it's completely see-through, especially when I do this. So what I do love about this watch is the fact that the chronograph buttons, the crown, the movement, the dial, the hands, the numbers, everything seems to be suspended sort of in mid-air. So it's like you're wearing an air watch, for the lack of a better word. I don't even know what to come up with here. But if you look at this, again, if you look at this closer, maybe even if I take it even further back, it seems like you have your dial, you have your watch, you have a movement that's sort of suspended in mid-air. See what I mean? Even if I look at this watch from every angle, especially the side angle, where you can actually see the movement through the side of the watch, which is really cool. Try to get as close as possible on that. How cool is that? I mean, I thought that the Hublot Sapphire was super cool to begin with, whether it was the white one, the red one, or the blue one. But I think this update with making everything around the actual watch and sort of emphasizing on the watch sort of took it to the next level. Look at that. That is just too cool. You guys let me know your thoughts. What do you think of this? Which would you rather take? Would you take this guy or the full sapphire, the one that's completely sapphire to include the dial? Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear that. So in the last episode, when I talked about, quote unquote, my personal collection of what am I wearing, I mentioned an old gold watch. That was a Rolex Daytona with an upside down 6 diamond dial in my vintage roll, if you remember. Ian, pop a shot of that if you want. I talked about the fact that I like an old gold watch.
I love gold.
And I said that I feel like an old gold watch should be yellow gold. If you think of gold, you think of a big chunk of yellow gold, because that's what gold is. Gold is yellow, right? So in the same time, I feel the same way about AP. And so what I brought is I brought the original brick, as they call it. They call it the brick, they call it the pounder, they call it numerous things, because this is literally a pound of gold. So this is the yellow gold brick from AP, the original brick, the pounder, as they call it, because it's literally a pound of gold. The sucker is so heavy, it's actually not easy to wear, not easy to get used to wearing it. You really would have to wear it for a few days before you get used to the weight of this watch. It's extremely, extremely heavy. It's an oldie but a goodie at this point, but it's still a watch that sells and sells well. Upwards of $50-some thousand is where this watch trades. And if I had a choice for an old gold watch from AP, this would be my choice. A big hunk of yellow gold. This is a great looking watch till today. A lot of people out there looking for these things. I wouldn't be surprised if this becomes a collectible down the line. They didn't make that many of these with the blue dial. Of course, you know, historically it's the steel stuff that goes first and the gold stuff follows. I think years down the line, I think this is going to be that one collectible, especially if you happen to find one complete with box and papers and in good condition. When I talk about gold watches, especially old gold watches, something where you literally want to put a hunk of gold in your wrist, I'm still the guy that's going to say a go with the yellow gold. I know these watches are discontinued, they're getting harder to come by, but they're still out there, still available online. I still pick these up any chance I get at a reasonable price, and I still sell them, and I still sell them well. A lot of these suffered the fate of getting iced out. That's why there's going to be a lot less of them out there. I know a lot of guys on 47th Street that have sold tons and tons of these too, that in turn took the watch, iced it out, because now it's a big gold iced out watch. So not a whole lot of these left because of that. You'd be surprised how many of these got iced out. 99 out of 100 times you will find one of these in their stock iced out, because it's just a really good look once you actually cover the entire watch with diamonds. And speaking of diamonds, so I don't forget, what am I wearing today? It's, again, a watch I showed you on the last episode. I'm actually wearing the iced out Offshore, which is also an older model, same size as that yellow gold. This is white gold. They did make this watch in yellow gold as well, and then later came out with the same version in rose gold. Another discontinued model that sort of hovers in that $60,000 price range. It's been as high as $80,000, $85,000 when it first came out, but it hasn't really dropped in its value greatly. It hovers anywhere from $55,000 to $70,000, depending on condition, how complete the watch is, and how many of these are out in the market and available at any given time. Because again, they didn't make very many of these either. I don't think this is going to be the next collectible, much like this yellow gold Offshore, simply because not a whole lot of guys out there are willing to put on fully diamond encrusted Offshore. There's not a whole lot of guys that are willing to put on a big hunk of gold like this either, but you'll find a lot more guys wanting to wear one of these than one of these. Of course, I told you guys before, I don't care. I wear what I like first and foremost. So what did I save for last, or the best, as they say, the best to save for last, right? The new diver. And seemingly, as soon as I put my camera to this phone, you're like, wait a minute, is that a LeBron? It is not a LeBron, although it looks very, very similar to the LeBron James. Ian, do me a favor, pop up two pictures side by side just so you guys can see. But obviously the first difference you'll see, this is not a chronograph, which LeBron is, but this is another variation of a diver with a gray ceramic bezel, gray matching strap, combination of steel and rose gold, automatic movement. Nothing different in this watch from any other automatic open back diver. Oh, I don't have to pick up my daughter from daycare. Thanks, babe. Anyway, back to the divers. I had a conversation about this a little while ago. I think someone asked me my thoughts in regards to the diver in general, and I went through the different reiterations, like the first diver that came out with the closed bag, then the open bag, then the white diver, then the orange, the pink, the yellow, every color of the rainbow diver, then the diver chronos, and so on and so forth. And I talked about how they got here. And the answer was very simple. You know, this is sort of that in-between watch before you got to the Offshore, right? Because the Offshores, you know, let's generalize them, stainless steel Offshores that all retails in the area of $27,000, right? They wanted to come up with something that's under that $20,000 price range because the market wanted it, and they tested it out with the diver. And the very first test came from a couple of limited editions that they made for WOMD, and then they made a regular production diver, which was a success, piggybacking off the success of the Offshore line when the Offshore line picked up, right? And then they went on and made limited editions in different colors and so on and so forth. And the latest one they came out with was this guy, and this guy is all the craze. They did a couple of things here. They took the existing diver that nailed its place in the Offshore line as something that's going to be around forever. It's something people have gotten used to. They know that, hey, Offshore line has an Offshore diver, and guess what? What? It's here to stay. It's not going anywhere. So now you got to keep producing stuff. Now, after going through all the different color variations, what are you going to do? Now you got to come up with one in the precious metal. But they did this in a big way, coming out with this seemingly two-tone timepiece that actually resembles the LeBron. And why not do that? The LeBron watch is seemingly one of the most successful latest limited editions alongside the Schumacher that sells through the roof right now. So they mimicked exactly the design of that watch in terms of the colors, the strap, and everything else in between. And it sells over list, and you'd be hard-pressed to find one of these timepieces. Limited edition, 500 pieces. That's a lot for a diver watch. So obviously AP has positioned itself so strong in the market that had this been, 15 years ago when the Offshores weren't all that hot, had this been 15 years ago when the Offshores was, this would probably be a limited edition of 50, much like they did with the WOMD. I think the rose gold WOMD, I think the gold WOMD they made either 25 or 50. I think it's actually 25, right? I think maybe 50 in steel and 25 in gold, something like that. But guess what? The way AP has positioned itself in the market, They can do this. If they would have made 1,000 of these, they would have sold out just the same. Of course, they try to find a happy medium to ensure that people actually feel this is pretty exclusive. When you get into the numbers of 1,000, this is when you start scaring people off. 1,000 pieces is a lot of pieces. It doesn't seem that way for the entire world, but it is, because the watch world is very, very small comparative to the overall world population, right? It's tiny, tiny little percent, right? So 500 is still a lot of pieces. And guess what? Call any boutique. They'll either make you buy something else with it if they happen to have one, but most likely they won't. These are all sold out. In case in point, they're trading over list. And they're going to continue trading over list. And the biggest reason for that is, again, this is just a great looking watch. I absolutely love the way this watch looks. And for me, it's something I would put on my wrist any day alongside with the LeBron. This is just a hell of a looker, a beautiful diver. And personally, I can't wait to see what they come out with next in the diver line. It's nice to take a break sometimes from the monotony of a chronograph, have a nice big chunky watch with a very clean dial, such as this watch. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed today's episode. As always, hit the like button if you like what you saw. Subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. I'm over 10,000 subscribers and I'm super excited about it. My next goal is 50,000 subscribers. So the only way I get there is by you guys that are watching this and not subscribed to click that subscribe button, and also to share these videos with your friend that you think may enjoy my content. Everybody in this day and age has social media. I've asked you guys to do this before and it worked. I went from like 6,000 subscribers to 9,000 subscribers in a matter of a month. And this is just by you guys copy and pasting or clicking the share button on the thing and putting it on your Facebook, Instagram, or whatever it is. And your friends came, they like what they saw and heard, and they subscribed, which is great. I love seeing comments on my channel saying, hey, Roman, new subscriber here, great content, blah, 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 blah. I always say thank you for that. I am thankful for that because I enjoy doing this. And what keeps me going is the fact that I get feedback from you guys via your comments, via your shares, and everything else, that I'm actually doing a decent job. So thanks again. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, I'll see you guys next week for more watch reviews and other videos.